From Godfather 2 to Garfield 2. I need to use this film degree somehow, and today's theme is scary music. Ooh, technology is evil is actually not the message of Black Mirror. But what is Black Mirror? Let me pass you over to my digital paternal figure, Charlie Brooker.
I would describe Black Mirror as like a box of dark chocolates. It's a worried show. It's a show that's worried about today. Even though it's often set in kind of near futures or sort of allegorical futures, it's really always about now and what's going on now.
The term dystopia was coined by Sir Thomas More back in the 1500s, encapsulating future fears of surveillance, technology, AI, paranoia, war, and general future advancements. If you have sci-fi, then you always have a utopia and a dystopia. Tomorrow is today, yet we can never live in a dystopia, because they are fictional. And the term Black Mirror refers to the reflective glare of a turned-off electronic screen, making you look at yourself. Before we dive in though, an easy misconception to form about Black Mirror is that it's not a show that says technology is inherently bad or evil.
I don't worry about technology per se so much as our inability to control these new superpowers.
Charlie Brooker is not technophobic, but instead human-phobic. Human innovation is merely the platform where humanity can cross its own ethical lines to reveal their own darker nature. It's a show of pessimism, to show how much we've changed as a society in just 10 years. It's there to make you question, why aren't I more scared? You know what, as far as first episodes go, this one is bizarre a way to open a series. Unrelated and unfamiliar to all those episodes that surround it, I can say in confidence though, that although this isn't the first one I'd recommend, this is the greatest episode of Black Mirror. I've seen some describe episode 1 as a piece of contemporary conceptual art. Good conceptual art should be there to make a point, that's its intention. To completely change the way that one views the world. And the national anthem is genius in its simplicity, and the sad fact that this one could actually happen. The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom is met with a dilemma. A terrorist has kidnapped a member of the royal family, and the only way to release her is if the Prime Minister has sex with a pig on live TV. Just from that alone, please do not dismiss it as vulgar or unrealistic, because the way that it manifests itself within our society today, and in this case, London and the entire country, this could happen tomorrow. Ha ha ha, quick joke about dead cat, fuck the pig, Black Mirror prophesies the future, but shh. The government, the military, they do all they can, but ultimately the terrorist makes his statement. He wins just through his understanding of the media in the 21st century. Like a depressing social experiment or an art piece or a big statement to make. This is a social episode, but one which has oddly personal and sad repercussions. We focus on the wife at the end of the episode rather than the nation. Things continue on as ever, but nobody's ever going to really forget that he's the guy who fucked a pig. His wife's never going to forget that. And that's the note that the episode decides to end on. A reminder that the Prime Minister or the President is just another person. Something we could all do with reminding sometimes. Of course the news shows are going to broadcast this. They'll get views. Of course the general public are gonna bunk off work and go and see it, laughing at this man who they elected into office. Shows a political system that's failed itself, huh? Real people are too involved with their media and entertainment and engaged with politics too little, because they feel isolated by it. Black Mirror gets very political later on, but we'll leave it there for now, because the national anthem is a social story, but also works as a personal story for Prime Minister Michael Callow, who might just be the most undeserving Black Mirror protagonist ever. He actually does quite heroic, and his only crime is being a public figure. The scariest thing of all, of course, is that this is just a viral event. From the people in on the operation to the general public, everyone just takes it as a joke. No one takes it seriously. which becomes significant when later it's revealed that the joke was on the entire country, the entire world. The unshown kidnapper actually is revealed to have not harmed anybody other than himself, cutting off his own finger rather than the princess's, killing himself when the entire thing is over. I like to think it's because he was proven right, which resulted in his suicide. There was really no trail back to him at all. But more importantly, he remained anonymous, faceless. And as we go on, you'll see that this is sort of a recurring theme of Charlie Brooker's. More on that later. It makes me think that Brooker is capable of orchestrating this himself. At the very least, I put forward that the villain in this episode is Charlie Brooker. Figuratively, but that's I think how he sees himself in relation to his own TV show. He's shedding light on our media failures, which is actually all his career's ever been. The TV isn't the only foreboding technology in the episode. Phones send nudes and important information. The internet is a constant stream of hate. It really gives off the image that there's no such thing as privacy or individualism in the modern day, especially for a public figure, so it doesn't even come down to a moral issue. He does the moral high ground for his own reputation or for his country, and he does the act and complies with terrorist negotiations, which is a mistake. But I wouldn't do it. I don't think he should either, for the sake of a country's reputation. At the end of the day, she is just one girl, a very popular, loved princess, but that is just one life, as opposed to the entire country's reputation. Oddly, and you will notice this in Black Mirror, it's an act of goodness which creates a terrible network of bad. This is not an easy, entertaining, or a pleasant watch, but it's an important one. Because this could be the most likely episode, the most realistic one to actually happen. It may not have any sci-fi tech or far-off high-concept dystopias, but this embodies everything that Black Mirror will go and set out to do. Episode 1 is my favourite episode. Moving on from my favourite to quite possibly my least favourite that the series has to offer, 15 Million Merits still has so much to talk about in it. Bing and Abby live and work in a mysterious workforce society where one can attain stardom through Hotshot, a reality TV X Factor kind of deal. After failing to impress the judges, Abby must turn to a life of porn or return to a slave-life existence, while Bing can only and must watch. Driven mad by his mandatory media injection every day, Bing plants himself into the system to find a forum so his voice can be heard, by any means necessary. I did the rewatch because this video's taken me 2 weeks to research every single episode and write mini essays on all of them, and I'm still loaded. Even the weakest episode is attuned to the little details and deserves an entire essay each. Brooker, you outdid yourself. Seeing any TV show call out X Factor and other reality shows was personal and exciting as hell to me. Yet somehow episode 2 is so overly explicit and in your face with its message that I almost don't enjoy it. It's easily the most Marxist episode in the series by far, with literal underground labour forces with blatant media conditioning and advertising, pushed to 100. There's no subtlety in this episode, it's surface level gold. Well, right off the bat, you know this isn't a normal reality TV show. The judges are named Judge Rafe, Judge Hope, and Judge Charity. They're characters, and they're probably no more free than the slave labour workforce are. Finally, a piece of media acknowledges the fact that porn stars and whatever we count for celebrities these days really are not that far apart. I'm not crazy, I know it. Yes, the episode also employs a form of defamiliarization, showing us something we already know, in this case capitalism and money, and phrasing it, showing us in a whole new way, which makes it look fucking ridiculous. Completely digital transactions where your full amount is like a video game, like points, and you can see them all time. The bourgeoisie wet dream where society's loudest and grossest forms the media representation for the people, their voice. The crux of the story literally concludes with our protagonist inciting social revolution, and as Karl Marx would describe it, awakening social consciousness. Thank you, Brooker, for the most pessimistic outlook on Marxism ever seen, where our own protest and voice of revolution is catchphrased and sold back to us. Depressing and heavy. Maybe this is just a tough watch due to it being so close to home for me. I could rant for months and months about the superficiality of reality TV, and there's God knows how many horror stories about X Factor applicants. Even the ones that do well. Susan Boyle is The ugly woman who had the voice of an angel. Shock horror. That's not me saying that, that's how X Factor pitched it. They sold that, that was her thing, that was her gig. No humanity, no feeling. Celebrity of the week, celebrity culture, which is another nightmare of mine. Fully realised as all of society. You too can be a celebrity and get no benefits at all. Welcome to the alien world of isolation. Final scenes are always very important in Black Mirror episodes. This one's no exception. So our main character, with his newfound celebrityism, has his black backdrop, pretending that he's still one of them, as he steps out of his filming set and reveals a white, equally as oppressive room. And that is definitely a screen as well. So, screens control the entire house, and what everyone sees, absolutely nothing has changed. And we end on the most ambiguous open ending of open endings. There's no definitive answers to what the bikes powered, if anything. We never learn how this society was created, we never learn if he saved the girl, whether this was humanity's last chance for revolution and a voice. Just a never-ending system of trash TV and regurgitating new and new celebrities every year. Someone get this show off the fucking air. Usually I like it when a piece of media gets too close to home or makes me think about myself and how I should change, but this one fucking terrifies me, and I'm not afraid to say it, because it's not just realistic, but inevitable. In the near future, everybody has a memory implant in their brain which allows them to rewind and relive past memories and sensations. Though of course with that changes completely how we view ourselves, our memories, and how we see ourselves with other people. It hurts relationships when you can go back and meticulously rewind memories.
Sometimes you're a bitch. I didn't mean that. You're a bitch. You're a bitch.
And it's especially bad for this relationship where our paranoid protagonist Liam is being cheated on with an old flame. With a baby upstairs, Liam does some detective rewinding and gets to the bottom of it. The entire history of you. Even that name alone elicits an invasive and paranoid implication. You don't want people in your viewing history, your browsing history, that's immediately a scary thought. Well, entire history of you makes that your entire life. That paranoia can consume. The entire history of you begins the Black Mirror subgenre of the invention episode, of the invention of one very specific technological breakthrough and how it impacts our lives and how we abuse it. The ability to play back memories in this case. And the thing is, with that, all of life becomes a chat log. This may not be apparent why this is a bad thing, with read receipts that are catalogued and can be replayed at any point. It's a library of every interaction you have ever had, and with that comes overthinking, overanalyzing. Now every memory can be tainted and ruined because it can be played back in perfect crystal clear Sky Plus definition. Now of course this invention was created and will be used in the future, this is the most realistic episode ever, for nostalgia. And nostalgia can be a beautiful thing. You can remember rose-tinted memories in your far-off back of your mind, or photographs, or videos. But you shouldn't actually be able to replay it. Because maybe remembering things as better than they actually were is a luxury, and we should appreciate it. Now, the horror of the chat log can be understood by anyone who's used to the chain nightmare trap that is the Facebook argument. A modern day invention. Our parents did not have this. You know the kind I'm talking about. Usually with a loved one or in a relationship, you fall into a trap of misunderstandings and people misinterpreting the words you write. I'm not actually talking to the person I love right now. This is unnatural communication. I can reread things that my friends have said in the past and apply a completely terrible narrative to them. And now every single memory is ruined. This is that externalized in an intense but completely believable situation. So his wife cheats on him. This is because this technology has brought out the worst in both of them. She clearly has only cheated because she is nostalgic and misses the past when she used to feel sexy, whilst Liam suffers for completely the opposite reason. He had a future, a family ahead of him, and he's been robbed of that. And here comes the Charlie Brooker staple of cuckolding. Just real contemporary, unsettling, male-specific issues. Charlie Brooker clearly knows how to play to them because they scare the shit out of me. So Liam is in the right to be paranoid, as in, she is cheating on him. But it's that neurotic obsession that turns him mad. Turns him to almost kill a guy, and also leaves him alone in a house with nothing but his memories. Sometimes ignorance is bliss. Nostalgia isn't always a good thing. I definitely don't want my life to be turned into a virtual paper trail, because then we're just databanks. We cannot mechanize sentimentality and relationships. We just cannot do that. And Facebook has already started to. And it ends with him disconnecting from the grain. The resounding message of Black Mirror. Disconnect. And there is part 1 of 3. Thank you for making it this far. I know a 16-minute video doesn't look like the best, but each one of these was like a film to dissect in their own right. Very meaty. Total beef. Thank you to my free patrons for keeping the Wi-Fi on and giving me meals. I love to eat meals. If there's a film you want covered, there's a link in the description to see how you can commission me to write your own essay. Custom made for you. See you guys soon.